Jovan, bring me my tablet out. What's up, everybody, and welcome to Kids and Conversations. I am your host, Kyra. How are y'all doing today? I hope everybody has had a productive day, week. Last week we did not come on, but this week we're here, we are back, we're on topic. We're going to do this thing, but I can never do this alone. So let's bring on Mr. Jarek Valdegan.
Well, you could always do it alone. You just choose not to do it alone. And I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yo, you got issues. Well, we all know that we're the number one podcast right now. So we're gonna have some fun with and I want to say thank you to everybody. Y'all y'all make me smile every day. So thank you to all the Candid Conversation followers. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for the topics and all of that good stuff that y'all bring to the KK show. And tonight is no different. Tonight we are talking about gentle parenting. And are we breaking cycles or breaking boundaries? I don't know. But can we actually raise our children to be not entitled, emotional, healthy, happy, disciplined, respectful children? Or are we just confusing gentle parenting with no boundaries, no discipline? I think it's both. But we're going to get into a video and then we're going to jump into our topic.
If you think as a parent your job is to remove pain out of your kid's life, you are setting them up for failure. I'm not talking about abusing your kids. I'm not talking about going over the top, and I'm not talking about disciplining them from a place of emotion. I'm talking about being intelligent about it and recognizing that there are times and places in a child's life when they need to know that their behavior is unacceptable and there's some form of pain associated with that. If your concern as a parent is to gently parent and create a safe space for them and not teach them what consequences are like, I promise someone else is going to teach them what consequences are like. The reality is the world is hard, and it's going to hit a lot harder than anything you do as a parent. My job as a father is not to create a safe space for my kids. My job is to create a training space for my kids. I love them that much that I have to pull back sometimes so that I can discipline them, teach them properly. And I promise you, my kids are going to come out and curb stomp kids that have been gentle parented, because they're going to be ready for the real world. They're going to understand there's a relationship with pain, that there's a consequence there. And whatever discipline you're doing, whether it's grounding, having your kids run laps, spanking them, or sitting down and having a really frank conversation with them, or whatever that looks like, is going to be some form of pain you're inflicting on your child, which is healthy. Pain is the great teacher. The only kids that are going to thrive in this world, in this difficult, challenging place that we're in, are the kids that have been prepared for it. The kids that are ready to go out there and understand what consequences are, understand what pain is, and those are going to be the ones that thrive. Your job as a parent is not to protect them and keep them safe. Your job as a parent is to teach them and prepare them.
All righty. What do you think about that, Derek?
We gotta revisit this whole pain thing, right? Because understanding that discipline does not equal pain.
He didn't say that. I
He
didn't I didn't I
said
didn't get that.
he said um that his children are going to understand discipline and the pain that comes with it.
I took it as he meant the consequences, because sometimes when you do things that you're not supposed to do, there's a consequence, and that consequence sometimes causes pain, whether it's to the kid or whether it's to the parent. It's going to cause some type of pain, and your kids are never going to understand that if they never have to go through it. That's how I took
Um,
it. But go ahead.
yeah, but everything does being prepared for the real world does not mean that I'm okay. That my kids are okay getting a whooping, or my kids are okay. Being prepared for the real world is setting your children up to understand that there are consequences that comes with bad decisions. So
Absolutely.
them understanding that there are consequences that come with bad decisions doesn't automatically mean that they're getting a whooping or they're getting, and even though he said it doesn't just mean however you may be disciplining them. Because some you have first number one, you have to know the temperament of your child. Some children, their temperament, um, I don't need to. I may not need to threaten or scream. Maybe a look, or maybe just them knowing I'm disappointed is far more than enough for them as a form of discipline. Where some other children who with their temperament, maybe they're going to push you to test their boundaries, and you have to be able to let them know and put a hard line in the sand that says this is where your boundaries stop. And if you go past this boundary, there's going to be some type of repercussion that comes with it.
Yes, that is typically how it's supposed to be. Um, Hello, Black Sacrifice. Thank you. Love, hugs, and kisses. Um, Typically, that's how it's supposed to go. But you have to also be that parent that you just can't threaten your kid. You got to actually go through with what you're saying you're going to do. If you tell your child, okay, not to do something, and they go on ahead and do it anyway, and you was like, and you say, okay, if you do it again, I'm going to take this, and they do it again, and then you don't take it, then where's the consequence? There is none, because you didn't follow through. It has to be a follow through, because otherwise the child is just going to say, oh, mommy said this or daddy said that, but they didn't follow up on it. So it's just talk, and they're not going to listen.
Yeah,
And I'm
but
not saying that all discipline has to be you getting a beating or a whooping or whatever. No, I don't believe that. But I'm a mixture of, I can have a conversation with my kids, I can talk to my kids, I can tell them whatever, but I'm not going to be repetitive. I'm not going to keep telling you the same thing over and over again. I'm going to tell you once nicely. Second time, we're going to have a discussion, a stern discussion.
right.
You keep it up, that it ain't going to be a third time, because I'm going to pop you upside your forehead. You're going to get physically touched. Okay?
There's always the choice of violence.
It is not. It's just what it is. Like, you're not going to keep playing in my face and acting like you don't understand what I'm saying to you when I told you more than one time. It's just that simple. I'm not gonna say I'm abuse, and I think it's a different. People think it's a difference between spanking your kid and abusing your child.
Absolutely.
Now, I don't do the abuse thing, but yes, you're gonna get a spanking. You're gonna get hit. You're gonna get popped on the butt if you're doing something that you ain't got no business doing, or I might pop you behind the back of your head, like cut it out. But I don't look at that as abuse. Some people do. I don't know. It's such a new definition in this day and age. Can't
It's
do
not.
nothing no more.
You can't. Right, because we were growing up. We were abused. We were poster children for being abused. That's what the biggest piece. We were poster children for abuse, that we were poster children for that diapers did not was not doing their job efficiently. There are so many cases of abuse, and there's so many adults who are now have certain traumas based off the abuse that they received at the hands of their parents during our time of growing up. Our parents
Yes,
chose.
that part I get and I understand. Abuse is abuse. Like, you know what I'm saying? Abuse is abuse. But now it's to the point you can't do nothing to your child. Otherwise, here comes CPS knocking at your door.
Right.
It's ridiculous. You can't discipline your kid. I'm calling CPS. You can't do this with your kid. I'm calling CPS on you. Baby, CPS gonna meet you outside. Because
They
not
smelled the
here,
abuse. They smelled the abuse from way off.
not here. Go on, take them. That
They,
go on, take them.
that's,
Be yours. They're
is
yours.
that abuse? I think that's abuse. Let me go on. Let me go on and head out
What?
testing.
What? What's abuse?
No, that's what
You
that's
have
what
to
their child.
define what abuse is.
Just no, I'm saying that's what they're saying now. That's what child and family services say now. They smell abuse from afar off.
No, because in all reality, I don't really hit my kids. Well, two of them is grown, and the other one, count on one hand how many times he got to beat it. But other than that, yeah, I don't really have to hit them because my mouth is good enough. They know, don't play with me. But
Right. So, but
sometimes, go ahead.
no, I'm saying your children know that you're going to choose violence, so they're not going to push the envelope.
I don't choose violence because that's not my first resort. When once I tell you the first time, the second time, if I have a conversation with you, after that second time, there is no third time. I'm just gonna pop you
Right. But
because
that was
I'm
a
not gonna keep talking.
right. But that was learned. They learned that they're not going to get to the third time. They learned there were some mistakes that happened along the way that they realized. You know what? I only got two good times because that third time the hammer's coming down.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not abuse. It might be a pop. I might take a phone. I might take they. You take their phones. You take them more video games. Them they straighten up real quick,
Right.
real quick.
But that would be considered. But that's where it would be considered as gentle parenting, because rather than beating a child, you are now choosing to use other forms of punishment to get them to get in shape and do what they're supposed to be doing. That's the form of
Yeah,
gentle parenting now. We didn't have that gentle parenting. We got our behinds beat and our stuff got taken. It was not an either or.
well, that is true. But that was also a different time. And sometimes when you have your own kids, you make a decision like, no, I'm not going to raise my kids the way my mom or my dad raised me. I'm not going to hit my kids the way my mom or my dad hit me.
Hmm.
I'm not going to do those things because I didn't like it when it was going on with me. But sometimes I do understand a pop because sometimes you gotta pop them to get their attention, because you do have those kids that just don't listen. They try to test your gangster,
Yeah.
and I'm not the one to test, because you're gonna fail every time. So my kids learned at a very early age in life not to play with me, because I ain't the one, or the two, or the three,
Yeah. I don't know.
or the
I don't.
four.
I figured that um I have given myself, or I have given a go at, I don't want to call it gentle parenting, but it's not the parenting that I've was raised on. I realized I did um early on, going into parenting, I utilized the ways of my parents. It's like that commercial, kids parents who do drugs have kids who do drugs. Well, from you, all right. I learned it from watching you. That's what you start off with that idea of, this is what discipline looks like, because this is the only thing I know discipline to be. But then as I begin to grow older and become wiser and have more children, I realized that discipline, there is more to discipline than raising your hand. And you do a lot more damage um with we did a lot of we dealt with a lot of damage for ourselves, but our children deals with a lot more damage from the old way of thinking, old way of doing things. My daughter still talks about, and she is a senior in college, and she still discusses with me when she was coloring, she was making a rocket on the door in the living room, on her bedroom door. She was making a rocket. She was being an artist. And at the time, she wanted to be an artist, but she got popped because she was writing on our walls. And that's unacceptable. But in popping her, it changed her trajectory, because then she didn't want to color anymore. She didn't want to draw anymore. She didn't want to be an artist anymore. Where she could have been, it was a darn good rocket. I'm remembering back now, it was a really good rocket. And it was life size. She did the whole door, like she had a table, she got a chair to draw the rocket on the from the top of the door to the bottom of the door. So, but she could have been a really good artist if I would have used a different form of discipline than just popping my child. I could have used this as a teachable moment. Hey, baby, you know, um, our walls and our doors aren't for you to color, but let me get you. I love how what you did with the rocket. Let me go and get you a notepad so you can draw and practice on. That could have been an approach I took with my child that could have not snatched away
Mm-hmm.
her innocence, and made her and turned her away from something she really enjoyed doing.
Understandable. And I get that, but that's like sometimes you have that instant response, like when you see your kid drawing on the walls or whatever. It's like, "Ooh, no, 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 pop, pop, pop." But I mean, I feel like afterwards you probably could have redirected that and explained to her and apologized to her and say, you know, Daddy, sorry for hitting you for writing on the walls, but that's not the place to write. If you want to draw or write, you you get paper and you use that.
Hmm.
And I'm pretty sure that would have reinforced that it's okay to do it, just not on the walls.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. But when you are when you don't know any better, you're gonna do what you feel is what is the best thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And in doing that, I pushed her away from becoming something greater or possibly being something greater. So that's what I'm
I
saying.
get it.
Like we have to we're so quick to we can't be so quick to put down what we have what we have grown or what we were brought up on, but we must learn how to use it appropriately. Everything doesn't automatically just run to I'm about to beat your butt, or you got two tries, but on that third try I'm gonna come beside your head. We have to know how and when is a good time to utilize foundational practices that we were raised up on, because we can't knock that down completely, because it produced us and we are good representation of what discipline looked back then. We're not
Mm-hmm.
serial killers. We're not crawled up in a corner, crying every night. We don't have short fuses. Well, you got a short fuse, but we don't have short fuses and all that other stuff. So our parents did something right with their
Oh,
form of discipline.
Jesus. I
But I
have a
think
short fuse.
yes, you do. You have a very short fuse.
I do not.
If you
I'm
if you say
pushed
so.
to having a short. I'm pushed to that. I didn't ask for it, but I'm definitely pushed to the greens. Uh, Short fuses, but I definitely get it. I mean, like I have a better, I could say, understanding of um when I was a kid. I wasn't the greatest child in the world, and I understand that discipline had to be taken, but the way my mother disciplined me was crazy. And yeah, so but in my mom's house, it was my mother's rules, and it's not like my dad wasn't there because he was. We all lived in that house, but my mom was the discipliner, and it just was what it was. And I listened, but sometimes she was a little excessive. But I understand. I can understand because I was bad when I was a kid, and I used to do things that I knew I had no business doing, and sometimes I did it just to piss my mom off. But at the end of the day, it was what it was. I got the punishment. I understood the punishment, but me being me, I did not care about the punishment. Sometimes I'd be like, I don't care. I'm just gonna do it. I'll take the punishment and leave it at that. But that's me. I learned
Hmm.
stuff the hard way.
That's us. That is
And
us.
so even though no matter how hard my mom tried to discipline me, it did not have an effect. It wasn't sticking. Because I still did it and said I'll just take the consequence. Now, I don't
Well,
know what I don't know. I don't think gentle parenting would have worked for me. Because hell, regular discipline didn't work. So I don't know how the hell gentle parenting would have worked. Um,
you have to know the temperament
hey
of your
Ivory.
child.
Hey Alex. Hey Ali. My mother knew my temperament. But I just feel like I don't know. I don't know what my problem was. I was just a little rebel as a child, and the consequences didn't matter to me.
Hmm.
It just was what it was. And you do
Right,
have
but that's
children
your
that way, so
threshold.
sometimes I don't even know like what do you do with a kid like that? Like I don't know how my mother dealt with me. I don't know how my mother dealt with me. I don't, and I lived it. My mother had, she had a lot of patience. I'll tell you that much.
That she did.
But I think that, but me now having kids, I'm like, okay, I just go a different route where I talk to my kids before I actually give them a consequence. And I think that that works for them because they're different, they're a different type of breed. You
Right.
have a lot more of entitled children. But I think that when we talk about gentle parenting, I think people think no boundaries. Like there's no boundaries, there's no consequences. Kids is running around, ruling the house, doing whatever they want to do. And there's no real consequence to anything that the kids are doing.
Hmm.
And I don't think that that's a true fact. That's why so many people say, a lot of people be like, I'm not doing gentle parenting. I don't believe in that and this and that. But that's really to me not the case. I think it's okay to talk to your children and let them know what the issue is and that this is going to be a consequence if it continues. If they don't listen, then I can understand the more stricter discipline. That's what I call it, where they get a little pop or something, something gets taken away from them, or whatever your consequence is. That's up to you. But and it's okay because I think when you explain to them what they're doing wrong, they should be able to say, well, I'm doing this because of whatever. Now, if they choose not to and choose to be, they don't care about the consequences, then okay. Then you just got a little fight on your hands. But let them be able to speak, but you can also be stern with them and still give them a consequence to their behavior. Whether it's stick or not, I don't know. But like we was talking earlier, and I was telling you about the little kid when Kmart was around and how he cursed, oh child, how he cussed his mama out in the Kmart. And I'm just, me and my mother just looking at each other like, what in the hell? I mean, he was using real big people curse words. And, and this little boy was like 11 years old. Like, what are we doing here? But he had no respect for his mother. And the only thing his mother could say was, wait till we get home and I tell your father. He would have walked home, number one, because I don't, he would have had to call his father because I don't know how he would have got home. But
Right, but
yes, he would
there's
have
a
got.
certain level. There's a certain level that has to be that we have to convey here, right? There's a certain level of respect for the father. There's a certain lack of respect for just everything. There's so many different angles, but there is a visible sign of respect when you go back to the video, you look at the video and you see how they're reacting and how they're moving. So I think you got to handle these situations differently. You can't just handle them as a one sided thing. Oh, he's angry, so I'm gonna send him with all the rest of the angry people. No, you send him with who to, or you send him and whoever is the person that's gonna best do the job of diffusing the situation so that the kids can go back to school.
No, I mean, absolutely. Go home and tell dad. But in that moment, in that store, mom should have put her foot down. And in whatever way that she chooses to, but there is no way you will disrespect me in public and curse at me like I ain't birthed you and think that that's okay. And I'm gonna handle you where you act up at.
Right.
So it's like it's levels to a lot of things, but the first thing you're supposed to teach your kids is respect.
Yeah.
Respect your parents, respect your elders, respect other people, other children. It's respect.
Absolutely.
So it's like, what are you learning at home? Because that just is not okay. Like your child, if your child will stand in the middle of a store full of people and talk to you in that manner, what are you teaching them? And your only consequence is when we get home, I'm gonna tell dad, baby.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell dad because I'm gonna get you, and then dad gonna get you. But since you with me, I'm gonna get you first. And you're gonna understand the word respect when I'm done with you. And that's why these kids, they go to school and they have no respect for the teachers. They don't have respect for each other. They don't have respect for the other students because that's something that you're not teaching them at home. Because you're ignoring everything, or you're threatening them with no follow through. And then when you're getting all these phone calls from school saying, "Oh, come get your kid," or such and such is suspended for this, or da 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 da, what are you doing to correct the behavior?
Absolutely.
Because empty threats don't work. No consequences does not work. You don't have to beat your kid, but you still got to follow through with a consequence so that child is going to know and understand that I can't keep doing this.
Yep. I think that's where the guy was saying that's where the association of you have to associate the pain to the action so that you don't just run back and do what you shouldn't be doing.
Yeah. You absolutely you do because and I agree with that. Yes, I love my children. They're my children. I birthed them, but eventually they got to go out into the world.
Right.
They got to meet people. They got to socialize with other people. They have to live their life. My job is to prepare my kids for the outside world. My job as their parent is to prepare them for the outside world.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not living with me forever. I can't protect you forever. So you have to get into some things. You have to get into certain situations and understand that everything that you do, whether it's a good consequence or bad consequence, there is a consequence.
Right. And I think that's the most important piece to how no matter how you look at parenting or how you decide to do parenting, the most important piece is understanding or getting them to understand that their actions come with repercussions, good or bad.
Yes. Like I'm still gonna love you. I think and that part needs to be reinforced too. Alexandra Alley, she says, I believe that schools should have some type of recommending them not over resulting in suspension, but in doing something for the school for the school. But I'm sorry, y'all. I believe that when I don't know, maybe I get this from my mama, but I believe that wherever you act up at is where you should be disciplined at. And people have to understand that yes, you can talk to your children. I talk to my kids all the time. We have our little personal conversations. I take them in one by one because they're older. The older they get, different type of things happen to your children in their life. So the way you parent them at certain ages in life has to be different. It can't be the same way you parent them from the time they was born to now. It just that's just it's not gonna work. So you have to know your child and have conversations with your child in order to get to know them, in order to get to know what's going on. And when they're acting up at school and you're getting these phone calls from school about your child acting up or being disrespectful or not following rules, it's like, okay, my child know better. So why is he doing this? Now, if you get home and I say, okay, your school called and you know, like what's going on? Why are you acting up at school? We know better. And if your only response to me is, I don't know. Okay. This is how I handle my son. I'm gonna take it. I don't know. You don't know why you acting up. You don't know why you being disrespectful in class. You don't know why you playing in class. I got one better for you. So I am now gonna take the day off of school. Off of work, and me and you going to school together, and we're gonna find out together why my son can't act right in school.
Yeah, that's cruel and unusual punishment. And I agree with it.
Because that is something that a kid just does not want. They don't want mommy coming to school. They don't want daddy coming to school. So if you want to act up and you can't give me a reason why you acting up, well, we're going to find out together. And I've done that to my son. He was so embarrassed. And I felt so sorry for him. But I didn't. Sorry, not sorry. Because you're going to understand that you don't never know when I'm going to pop up in your building. You want to act up in school and you can't give me a reason why? Well, we going to school. And I followed Chanel whole entire day. And I never had a problem from him after that. Why? Right. Because when I walked in that building, they was like, oh my God, that's your grandmother? That's your grandmother? And, and he don't want that. So act right. Because he was the best student that day, but that's the student you should be every day. I shouldn't be getting phone calls from school. So sometimes you got to show your kids better than you can tell them. I'm okay with taking with not going to work that day because I have to raise my child, and he has no. I'm not playing with him. So it's like little things you have to. You may not like it, but it is what it is because you chose to be a parent. So raise your children to be respectful when they're out here in these streets, especially when they're in school. Because for me, school is not a place to play. It's a place to learn. Mm-hmm. And that's what you're there for. So that's just my opinion. That's my motherly opinion. Hey, hi, Miss Mason. But yeah, so I have a question for everybody though. And y'all let me know. Do you agree is spanking abuse? Derek, is spanking abuse?
I'd say the spanking, there's a level of abuse, right? There's a thin line. And that's why you have to be careful with how you apply discipline, right? Because if one of my children do something and I'm reacting to what they're doing, there's a little bit of anger that's mixed into this place that now is displaced emotions. So now rather than my child feeling the thunder because they did something wrong, they're feeling the thunder because I am upset with them. So you have to be able to have these conversations, these real conversations, these truthful conversations, so that they can understand what's going on. But a beating does not constitute someone's being abused. It's how you adjust that.
See, I don't like the word beating. I like the word spanking because to me, a spanking is 2, 3 taps on your bottom side. A beating is when you get in belts, when you get in extension cords, when you get in
Belt to
switches from
ashes.
outside.
Belt to ashes. That's what it's called. Belts to ashes.
Exactly. That's what I consider a beating. And to some degree, a level when you start leaving bruises and think that's abuse.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Ali said there's nothing wrong with chest icing your child. That's right. Um, but now that I consider, but spanking, I don't. So that's why I'm like, some of the terminology that people like to use is not the reality. Because to me, a pop in the back of the head is not abuse. Me pinching you is not abuse. But if I'm punching you in your face or giving you body blows, okay, that's a little excessive. And that can be considered abuse. What, Derek? What you shaking your head for?
Because I feel like abuse, I feel like when we talk about that, there's a thin line between getting to that threshold or get over the threshold, so we're in this place of abuse.
But what's the threshold?
Huh?
What do you think is the threshold?
I already said. I said it's a small threshold. It's a light threshold from getting from one part to the next.
I get it. And I just want to elaborate on something. We're doing this we're talking a lot about kids and this because kids are going back to school.
Yeah.
And with the kids going back to school, we're trying to line up and have parents understand the reasoning when things happen in school. It also it correlates with what's going on at home. And we all have to get a better understanding of a lot of components that come with that. Because it's not just a phone call of your child being bad. It starts from somewhere. And in order to try to fix it or get some type of control over it, sometimes we have to be a little bit more aware of what's going on and what we're doing and being a little bit more active, even if it makes us a little uncomfortable as parents. Because yes, we work and we do all of these things and we're busy, but our kids are always going to be our number one priority because this is the life that we chose. The kids didn't choose to be here. We chose for them to be here. So we have to parent them and raise them properly to introduce them into this world so other people outside of us can deal with our children. Because if you don't show them, somebody else is, and it may not be that pretty.
Yep.
Absolutely. So Ali says the different ways of abuse is verbal, emotional, and mental. So it's more than just hitting, physical abuse. A lot of people curse their kids out very badly and say very nasty things to them. You continue to tell your kid he ain't gonna be in life. Guess what? He ain't gonna be in life. Sometimes we gotta watch our mouths.
Yep. I 100% agree with you. But here we go. We're gonna throw this other video up.
Oh Lord, this I
Listen, parents, quit running your house as if it's a fucking democracy. It is not. Your household is a dictatorship.
Well,
do what I say, do or fucking else.
But now they have this thing called gentle parenting.
Oh, I believe in gentle parenting.
Do you?
You're living, aren't you?
Surviving is not thriving.
But you are thriving. You survived it. I was very gentle. I was very gentle. I give you passes from time to time. See, you survived that night coming in my house drunk, throwing up on my damn carpet in my bathroom, talking about your cycle was on. Your damn cycle wasn't on. You were drunk.
Well, at that point, I was way too old for gentle parenting. Gentle parenting is like when they're growing up, you don't whoop them.
Oh, hell no. The Bible says, spare the rod, spoil the child. So I believe in whipping that ass. I don't believe in abuse, but I believe in whipping that ass and letting that ass know, reach out and touch somebody's ass.
Yeah.
Make this world a better place.
Oh God, I thought that was so comical.
That was a lot.
It was.
Give me one
But
moment.
that is, yes, I'm gonna give you your moment. Yes, that was comical. And I think that is most of the time how we're raised in the black in our homes. And I don't know, I could speak about that. That's just something that I know my mama or my aunties or whatever would say, because sometimes people do believe that without physical touch, they not understanding what I'm saying. So when she said to reach out and touch, I think that that's something that is a typical thing where, where we come from. So completely can understand where she came from, because that's, that's how we was raised. And that's what we believe. Not to say that it's right, but those are the things and those are the ways that we were raised. And we don't want to always say that physical touch or physical hitting your kids is always the appropriate thing to do, or the appropriate way to do things. But if we follow those rules that we were raised with, would our children be in a better place? Would our children be more respectful? Would they understand why that type of discipline is going on? Yes, Alex, the Bible, the Bible says a lot of things about discipline. I don't really too much get into the Bible sayings and stuff like that, because for me, I'm not a it's confusing and conflicted sometimes with me. So Ali says, I was the oldest in my family, and because of my siblings do wrong, I would get beat because I had to show them how to be or set an example. Oh, you were the one disciplining your siblings because you were the oldest. And that happens in a lot of families. The oldest is unfortunately, it's sad to say, but the oldest child gets the brunt of everything, and they have to become the parent because the parent is out working, and they become the discipline, the one that's disciplining the kids and doing all of that. And that should never be, because you're a child, and children should not be taking care of their siblings in a way that a parent should. Like, okay, yeah, you to babysit while I go and run to the store or something like that. Okay, but raising them and disciplining them, I don't think that's right, because they're children themselves. How can they discipline their siblings? And especially in this day and time, like when we were younger, it was a little different. But in this day and time, older siblings should not be disciplining their younger siblings. They should not be raising their younger siblings.
Absolutely, I agree that 100%.
That just should not be, because they're a child themselves. You're making them grow up too fast.
But sometimes we don't have a choice. Sometimes, especially when you're a single income household, when everybody understands that in today's time we definitely need more than two people. But heck, we at this point, polyuremy needs to be going wildfire because you need at least three incomes to actually live and be comfortably, right? So when you have a single parent who's trying to make it, then they rely or they lean on their oldest children more than they should, for a reason.
I understand that. You know what I'm saying? I do understand that. But it's a difference between leaning on your older child to sometimes babysit. Okay, babysit while you're at work. Here, but not all the time. Like, at what point do you get it together and not think that this child, because that's what they are, your oldest child is not their caregiver? Get a plan.
Hmm.
If the babysitter, if you can't find a babysitter, you can't get a family member to baby, you got to think of something, because it's not your oldest child's responsibility to raise their younger siblings. Because what about their life? You're literally taking away their life because their children, they're not doing things their children should be doing because they got to sit in the house and watch the kids. That's not fair to them. Like, let them live like a child should live, and that does not include raising them extra kids that you chose to have that you knew that you couldn't take care of, or you didn't have a responsible person to watch your children. On Instagram, Real Gregory is asking, what about a bruise from a slap? If you slap somebody and you bruise their face or their body part, that was one hell of a slap.
Right. Right.
And that's abuse. I'm sorry, that's abuse. Yes,
Yep.
it is. It's
Sorry.
abuse. That is definitely abuse. Nobody should be leaving bruises. That that shouldn't be happening. That's why I
Right.
say, like when I was a kid, my mother was very heavy-handed, and I forget what I did. I did something, and my mother smacked me, and my mother smacked me so hard that she literally left her handprint on my face. Like, I couldn't go to school for like 2 days because my mother handprint was on my face. Um, because how my mom smacked me. But that is abuse. Like, and I say a lot of times to my mama, like, yo, I could have called Davies on you so many times, but I never did. Not to say I deserve to be hit like that, but at the end of the day, it was what it was. I got to stay home for 2 days. It's a win-win for us all. I got to say, so it's a win-win. I understand, Allie. You didn't have a choice, and most kids, that's the oldest sibling, they don't have a choice. They don't get that choice
Right.
because you got to roll with the punches. But sometimes we got to think about, what does that do to that older kid? And then we wonder why our kids are misbehaving, or they don't want to, that they're being not compliant to a lot of things. Is because the way they living, and they acting out because that's the only way they know how to get somebody else's attention. Because if you're an older sibling and you're taking care of your younger siblings, who's giving you attention? Who's making sure your needs are being met?
I agree, and like I said, I agree and I disagree at the same time. I'll
You
say
know I
I'll
got a
say that.
smart mouth, Allie.
I'll say that. Um, I think, like you said, I think the if you got hit, if that's why I said we were the poster children for abuse because um one of the main things like we parent. I remember I can recall my mom telling me like she's not going to beat the clothes that she bought, so she going to tear me up, but she knows where to hit me at because it's going to be covered by clothes. You get what I'm saying? Like let one of us say something like that right now today, and we'll be in handcuffs walking to the car from our jobs in handcuffs with because that was a terroristic threat.
That's true. But that's the way our parents, that's the way our parents was. They knew, your coat's gonna cover those bruises unless it's on your face or your arms.
Right.
But
And that's why most times you didn't get hit on your face and your arms. Most times that's where a beating or you even think about it. If we really look if we look at if we take a moment and look at historically, even this is something that was passed down through generations of people that you never met.
mhm,
Like generational, this is generational curses. This is getting beat on your behind. And most times I tell my parents all the time, I told my parents when I got older, I said, y'all never hit my butt. My butt is pristine. My back is the one that got all the marks on it because your aim was horrible.
my mother caught you wherever she could catch you. She ain't give a damn what it was.
Right.
Back, front, leg, arm.
But the difference is we survived and our resilience is different than kids of today.
It is. It
life could
absolutely
change
is.
life could change dramatically for us and we still will figure out how to survive. We know
Exactly.
we know how to we know how to live and how to survive in the struggle
Yeah.
where our children think that the struggle is not having a cell phone.
A
They don't.
game, a TV. Mm-hmm.
Right. Right. Every
Mm-hmm.
most kids have their own TV in their own room. They don't understand the fact that you all had to watch whatever was on the big TV in the living room because there was no other TVs. And most times, if if daddy was home, you, he had control of the TV most of the day. So you were watching whatever he wanted to watch for the most part of the day, right? They don't understand that the things that we went through built our resilience, but today it would
Mm-hmm.
never fly. Digital
You know.
parenting is just another sign of the fact that the things that we were subjected to as children that our children will never be able to would have never survived in our time of growing up.
Absolutely not. No. They too entitled. This generation is a very entitled generation. And I think that's just the way, because I think more in this generation it's more children raising children, and we have more parents being friends and not
Hmm.
parents.
Absolutely.
So like you can't be both, but you can't. Like you're a parent before you're your child's friend.
Hmm.
I'm not here for you to like me. and be buddy buddy with me because I don't want you to be mad at me because I disciplined you or I gave you. I don't give a damn if you mad. You gonna get over it. I'm so sorry. You gonna get over it. I don't care. But I'm not your friend. And my kids, we don't never cross it like and that's a boundary. My kids could never cross that boundary with me. You're going to always respect me as your parent and as your mother. Now I may chill with y'all sometimes. We could joke, we could laugh, we could do all the things that grown mothers and sons do, but they know there's a limit to it. And they have respect. They know they're not going to do certain things in front of me or around me because there is a boundary and mommy ain't your friend. And I don't want to see it. I don't give a damn how grown you is. That's just
Absolutely.
like I have a certain respect for my mother. My mother, I know as her grown daughter, I'm not going to do certain things around my mother. I'm not going to say certain things around my mother because it's a respect thing there, and my mother is not my friend. My mother is my mother.
Right.
And we, but we're never gonna cross that boundary. We're never gonna. It's never like all of that. You want to go, you want to hang out, you want to party with your friend, with your kids. No, thank you, no, thank you, ma'am. If it ain't at a family event, it will be nowhere. I'm so sorry. But that's this generation. You know what I'm saying? And we got to get out of that. Just that's not your job. That's not your place when you have kids. Be a parent. Raise your children. Because if I get a hold to them, I'm sorry. I'm going to smack them.
See, always choose the violence once again.
I don't care. You're not going to bring your little disrespectful ass kids to my house and think that they're going to be able to do whatever they want to do because they do that at your house. Not here. We got rules here and we follow them.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, but that's one reason why I don't babysit other people's kids. I don't do that. Because how you raise your kids and how you do your kids, that's on you. I'm not gonna be bothered. You're not about to get my blood pressure high because your child don't know how to act.
Right.
And I got rules. So, take your baby home. Take your baby home because they can't, they cute. I'm not babysitting. If your kid don't know how to act, do not ask me to babysit because the answer will be no. If your child don't know how to listen, the answer is no. Not doing it. I'm not putting up with nobody else's child. I'm not going to allow nobody to do nothing that I don't allow my own kids to do in my home. Not happening. Not today, not tomorrow, not never. No.
And with that being said, we have come to the end of our we have come to the end of our hour. Tyra, you want? I will finish. I will finish with the statement for those who continuously use the scripture or say that the Bible says, "Spare the rod, spoil the child." You must understand, and most people don't know because we were raised up hearing that scripture, but we don't know. We never found the scripture for ourselves to realize that that was just a part A of the scripture, because the part B tells us that parents, a wise parent, shall use discipline carefully. So we're quick to jump on the part of sparing the rod and spoiling the child, but we don't touch the second part of it of choosing to discipline our children carefully. Taking care, that means that we're taking into consideration what their mindset is, before and after. We take the time to explain why it had to go down the way went down. We take these moments and carefully address the issues that were presented to us. So, in the words uh of my fallen brother, let's get back to family.
Okie dokie, everybody. Thank y'all all for tuning in. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for joining the conversation. And just remember one or two or maybe three things. Kids are going back to school. Have conversations with your kids. Talk to your kids. Make sure that because we seeing a lot of these videos with the kids and the teachers and they fighting and they tearing up stuff that don't belong to them. Listen, teach your kids, make them understand that when they go to school, it's a place to learn. It is not a place to disrespect the teachers and the people that are in that classroom with them. Everybody is there to learn, not to see a fight, not to see your child disrespecting a teacher. And there are appropriate things to do in ways to go about something if your child feels like they are being done wrong. You do not have to go toe-to-toe with an adult. It is disrespectful. It is very disrespectful and it's uncalled for. So let's try to minimize that this beautiful school year. And let's not forget that we can still break cycles of the way we were raised. Not to say that what our parents did was the wrong thing to do, but we can appreciate some of the lessons that we did learn from being raised by our parents and the discipline that we received as children and going into adulthood. That some stuff can be passed down and some stuff this shouldn't. But give your children the space to come to you, to talk to you, and to express themselves without fear. Because implementing fear in your child is going to stop them from having that type of relationship with you guys. So we got to know better to do better. So let's do better going forward. And on that note, peace, love, blessings. We are going to do the last part of our series on Tuesday, which is the ultimate co-parenting. Yay! What fun! So we'll see you guys next Tuesday. Same time, same place. Peace, love, and blessings.